When I talk to women and they're trying to get into the space, it's like, yeah, but I don't know that much. You think the guys know everything?
Welcome to the Alpha Podcast, brought to you by Neverland Labs and hosted by me, Jussa, here in Buenos Aires. We're at the Polkadot Decoded conference in Buenos Aires. This is a special edition. These episodes are unique because I'm co-hosting them with Jay, who has his own podcast, and we're kind of working together where we're co-interviewing people and switching things up. There'll be a version on his channel and there'll be a version on this channel, so make sure to check out both versions, and we already know mine, it's gonna be better. I want to remind you that everything you're about to hear is not financial advice, nor do we endorse any of the projects or guests on the show. It is simply meant for educational purposes, and sometimes we're learning about these people or projects in real time. While this is brought to you by Neverland Labs, the opinions expressed are of mine, the guests, and also Jay's. I want to give a huge shout out to Polka House, who brought us out here to make this happen. So with that being said, I hope you enjoyed this series, and let's tap into the episode.
I am a co-founder of Pocket Network. I am a lead designer in Pocket Network, and I also work with everything in product. Like, I'm trying to make more usable the protocol that we have and make it easier for any user to access to the awesome technology that we are developing.
What's your background?
I'm an industrial designer. I don't have a technical background.
Yeah.
I've been educated to create objects, products, like the most physical things. That's my background education, and then now I'm designing in the most ethereal space that exists.
Right. Well, what's one of your favorite things you've ever designed?
Oh, I worked in a product design company where we were designing a grinder for wheat for people with arthritis. So they cannot grind it because it's hard for them. Then we were trying to make like a vacuum that will have some kind of tip to serve the wheat into the paper roll. That type of things, interesting industrial design stuff.
Very cool.
That was really interesting. What got you into Web3 Space?
My co-founders.
Your co-founders
My
did.
co-founders
They kind of pulled you in?
They infected my brain with these crazy ideas and the star. So I'm like, they were just talking about blockchain, and I was like, what's that? And I just remember going home and trying to research, and I was like, okay, and coming back the next day. So this, and this. Yes, until it blows my mind. I'm like, okay, I don't get it all, but I think I need to get deeper on this.
Yeah.
And our game, initially organizing the project, was like they're trying to pitch ideas around blockchain and me playing the user role. That's what I do. That's what I like to do, and that's what I know how to do. Like, what would the user do here? How the user will interact with that? And trying to translate that technicality into something that everyday persons can actually implement on their life.
Off camera, you were talking about some new things that you guys are working on, right? Can you explain just briefly? Like, I talked to Rich from your team a few months ago. I don't know. It's a blur in this space, right? Time is a blur. So we have a little bit of understanding what Pocket is, but can you explain Pocket briefly, and then the trifecta force, right? Is that what it's called? Triforce.
It's a trifecta, effectively.
Yeah.
Pocket Network, what we do is we serve decentralized infrastructure for any applications. We are L1. We are a coordination layer. We are a protocol that incentives people to run full nodes. So they can be serving decentralized applications and their users to have connection to almost any blockchain. Right now we are supporting around 50 blockchains, and our goal for 2022 is to reach 100 chains. That's where we are working, and that's how it connects to Triforce, like to get more forces together to reach that 100 chains by the end of the year.
So just to be clear here, you are creating infrastructure and programs to encourage people to run full nodes so that blockchains can operate.
Well, the protocol itself incentives users to run full nodes.
Gotcha.
So you can see Pocket like sitting in the middle, and our protocol incentive those users to run those nodes. But on the other side, we try to connect the applications with that supply of infra that the nodes are running.
Gotcha.
We don't control the nodes. We don't control that. That's on the community.
And how do you incentivize people to?
With the economics models, and also tools, and also making a sustainable ecosystem where everyone can participate. We have a DAO, we have foundation, like all those things play a vital role in making a healthy environment for nodes to run and for applications to come and service and get service from those nodes.
Does that play a huge role in the ability to scale?
Yes, absolutely. Like on the side of the nodes, it's very nice to see the grow. Right now, our network has over 50K nodes. So what it means is like it's very redundant, and it's scalable for the applications that want to grow and want to drive more data.
Right.
So we are ensuring, we are avoiding single points of failure.
Right.
Yeah, which is a huge
Exactly.
problem that needs to be solved. Yeah.
Exactly, and making this actually decentralized. Like these applications that are being served by our infrastructure are truly decentralized in the core. Like,
People who are coming in and want to build on Web3, like one of the concerns is like, all right, if you build something that has a great UX and a great UI that's going to attract mainstream people, then the tech needs to be able to be scalable for that. It needs to be able to serve enough people, because it becomes a problem when you actually attract all those people and you don't have tech that can back it up.
For sure, and like having again that ecosystem that support from one side or the other side, it's just vital to maintain and make a sustainable change, I think.
So what's Pocket Network's involvement in the Polkadot Kusama ecosystem?
Okay, that's great. That is kind of part of the effort that I was mentioning about Triforce. We recently launched our first parachain, Moonriver and Moonbeam. They are part of the effort of trying to expand into new ecosystems, the infrastructure that we have. They came with us and participated in the Triforce program that we have, which goal is to monetize, give the ways for people to monetize, to get rewards or have an economic incentives, integrate with our ecosystem. We call it Triforce because it's funny and we like to make interesting names for things, but it's a triangle, it's a trifecta, force shaped by three forces, like the DevOps, the marketing, and the marketplace. And that's how Moonriver and Moonbeam became part of it. They shape a team of those three forces and make everything happen to be connected with us, and now everyone can access to the infra that we have from the Polkadot ecosystem. And for us, my objective will be to incentive much more people to use their skill set, because they actually are part and they know very, very well those ecosystems. So while we support horizontally and try to grow horizontally, like each one of those ecosystem members actually one can include those projects through this program with us and have compensations through their impact.
Do you see the future as being multi-chain?
Oh, currently we support many chains as the access to the infrastructure, and we have a project that is on the development that is called Wrap Pocket. That is a wrapping version of our token in AVM ecosystem. We are launching in Polygon.
Oh, interesting. Okay, and then we'll go to other chains from there?
It's up to the community to decide.
I see, interesting.
It's our initiative. Yeah, we're driving it.
Yeah.
And the first idea was to wrap the token in Ethereum, but then we came back a year later and we asked to the community, what do you want? You want to launch in Ethereum with these fees?
Yeah.
Or you want other networks? And the community decided to launch in Polygon. So
fantastic.
It's up for the community to decide.
So for our listeners who may want to get involved in the Triforce and everything you're doing there, what sort of basic skills do they need to get started on their journey?
That's a great question. Like, we want to include anyone that can feed on these three primary forces, as we call them. First one is we call it power. That is the DevOps or the technical support that needs to be integrated in this chains. Then we have wisdom, that's part of the marketing, And then we have courage, that is part of the marketplace or business development. So those are what we call the charts, a full triangle with all these three skill sets or those three forces that forms a chart. But if you're an individual and you think that you're part of a community that should be starting to get closer to the Pocket ecosystem, you can also be part of it as a singular that has a special skill set on any of those three. And with our program coordinator, then the charts are going to be completed, and then rewards will be paid upon the relays that those ecosystems drive through the network, and several milestones that are very well defined. And ultimately, that could become a passive income if the ecosystem keeps growing and your work is pretty well done.
That is so cool. That's awesome.
One question that I've been asking a lot of women is, like, you don't see a lot of women in this space. What has been your experience as a woman in Web3, as well as, like, what would you tell other women to enter the space?
Oh, for me, it's like I've been here around like 5 years or so, and seeing the space change a lot. Like until this year, I actually felt like I'm seeing more women participating, raising their voice, having new things. What I have to say is, like, don't wait until you're perfect, until you have your skill sets on the point that you felt perfectly confident, because that's not the way the world works. Right? We are growing every day, and every day there are new challenges, and we are never going to reach that model that they teach us that we have to be on perfect line to actually apply to that job or is to enter a new space. It's just like take the ball, stay running, learn, and we are all learning. I don't know a bunch of things. And probably you're going to ask me something, I'm going to say, I don't know, but I have a team. And that's where teams are for. When I talk to women and they're trying to get into the space, it's like, yeah, but I don't know that much. It's like, you think the guys know everything? It doesn't matter. Like, we're all learning. The important thing is to put yourself there and try to reach other levels of knowledge with your peers. That's what I will say.
I think that advice, like, literally applies to everybody. Anybody that feels fear in coming into that is probably the best advice that you could ever hear.
You don't need to be absolutely technical. Like, I don't come from a technical background, and I've been surviving this space 5-6 years, so you can do it. Everyone can do it. Like, and we need different background skill set to actually make this more usable and to reach a different and all type of users. Like, if this is only technical people talking to technical people, then only this very tiny population, part of the population, will actually service from what this amazing change we have in our hands.
Yeah, I totally agree. Where can people find you, like on socials, or keep up with what you're doing?
I am on Twitter. My Twitter is Vale BEF. That's my Twitter. So, or anything related with Pocket, I'm here and there. All the communities. Our Twitter is POKT Network. And if you want to be part of the Triforce, you have a skill set and you think like any of the ecosystems anyone works at and want to be closer to what we do, so follow us and you'll find more and more resources.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, a pleasure having you on the show, and thanks for sharing all this with our audience.
Thank you very much for having me. Happy to join with us.